Hello everyone, Jerison here with my brand new game, Stellar Armada. Stellar Armada is a brand new game that I'm making that's coming to Kickstarter in mid-September. Been getting a lot of interest on Twitter and Facebook recently. People are asking, okay, what's the deal with this game, right? Like, we hear it's $1. How's that possible, and how much game am I really getting for a buck? Those of you who saw the obligatory $1 pledge level game, right, you probably realized it was a gag, right? It wasn't a full game that you could actually play, right? It was a game of sorts, but it was actually rejected by Board Game Geek because it didn't have an end condition, right? So when I saw that, I thought to myself, well, there's got to be a way to actually make a game for $1. And at the time, I had been playing around with a game called Starfire. Very old game, one of the earliest micro games that ever existed. And I was trying to make it more modern, right? To give it modern player mats and tokens and solutions that would prevent it from just being pen and paper hexboard. Well, that led me to the idea of how to build a $1 game. So effectively what I did was I reduced the game down to 2 playing cards. Each of these is a player mat. On the front here, we have the player's mat with points that can be tracked. And on the back here, we've got instructions. These are the same. Cards are exactly the same. The point is just to have everything in one place. So this makes it super cheap. I can print these 2 cards for well under $1. Now, the trick, of course, is, okay, great, so you've got cards, but don't we need things to put on the cards? Well, I'm glad you asked. I figured out a special type of token that I worked out how to manufacture myself. It's basically small cardboard circles. They've got a little bit of height to them, as you can see. That height makes them easy to pick up, move, and manipulate in the game. As you can see, I've got a game set up here. Pay no attention to the one over here. We'll get to that in a moment. This is the actual game right here. What you have is on your starship here. Let me bring back the close-up one here. So on your starship, you've got ammo. You've got 10 missiles you can fire. You've got 2 missile launchers and 1 piece of armor to protect those missile launchers. You've got 3 engines, 3 masers, 6 reactors, none faster, for those of you who know about the Enterprise. You've got 3 repair teams and 5 shields. What you do at the beginning of the game is start with everything fully charged up, repaired, set up, right? And then players take turns basically attacking each other, right? So in the $1 version here, the one thing I did include is dice. You gotta provide your own dice. The game can be played with as little as 1 d6, right? All you gotta do is every time you need to roll your d6. Now, of course, that's gonna make for a lot of rolling. So to simplify things, I'm going to use a few more dice. All right? Okay. All right. First thing we do is decide who goes first. So each player takes a die, rolls it, 5. That's a 1. Player 2 here starts first. Let's make sure we can get that in frame. So that was a 1 that got rolled. So player 2 here starts first. The first player, now each of these systems has an effect, right? You get a certain number of energy points based on your reactor's current state. You start with 6 energy points you can spend per turn. You can use those energy points to recharge shields if they need to be recharged, to repair systems up to the number of working repair facilities you have. You can fire your masers, which each do 2 points of damage per weapon. You have 3 masers. You can fire your missiles, which you have 2 missile launchers, and those each do 5 points of damage, but you're limited, right? You only have 10 missiles you can fire. And you can fire your engines. Your engines allow you to maneuver out of the way. How that works is when you fire a weapon, you roll. Uh-oh. Let's put that back. As you can see, these are super easy to pick up. And where does this go? This was lost from the missiles there. All right. As you can see, these are very easy to manipulate. So let's come to our dice here. Right, so you roll your dice. This would not be a hit under any circumstances. However, if no engines were fired by your opponent on his turn, this would be a hit. Anything 2 or above. But for each engine he powers up, he can get as high as, where is that? There we are. As a 4, not being a hit. If he powers up all 3 engines, only a 5 or a 6 is a hit, right? So it greatly reduces the chance of getting hit by a weapon. Now you're gonna get clobbered, right? That's just part of the game. So what player 1 would do here is he'd make decisions, right? First turn, the other player gets a automatic 3-engine boost because he's a second player, to help even things out on the first turn. So this guy might decide to say, all right, I'm going to fire up all 3 engines. To represent that, a quick shortcut is to take the dice and place it next to it and say, okay, I fired up 3, so that when it's the other person's turn, he has an idea of what I did, right? So I'm going to fire all 3 masers. All right. So I failed to hit any of them, right? That was a complete waste. So I've expended all my energy points, and I have failed to hit anything. Now, the other player, he's going to expend his energy points in a similar way. He's probably going to go, okay, you know what? I want to expend 3 energy points on engines, right? It's just a good idea. And then he's going to say, okay, well, and he'll probably roll first, right? But we'll leave that there because he's going to fire his missiles. So he's going to fire 2 missiles, right? So he's expended 5 energy points so far. Nothing hits. All right. So he's got 1 more energy point. He's going to spend that on firing masers. So he's going to take a die. He's going to roll that. Oh, come on. Die is not with us. All right. Next player's turn, right? He's going to go, you know what? I'm firing 2 missiles, right? So take 2 die, roll them, a hit, right? So 5 points off of his shields, right? Shields get hit first, right? So I've destroyed my opponent's shields. That leaves him in a bad spot. I'm going to now spend 3 points on powering up my engines and use my remaining point on firing my engines. Okay, or use my remaining point on firing masers. Okay, so I miss, right? I get a 2. Well, that's not great. So it's now the other player's turn. He's going to look at this and he's going to go, okay, you know what? All right, I need to fire up my engines. That's kind of important. And then I'm going to spend the other 3 points on recharging my shields because he's playing very defensively. Okay, his turn's over. Next guy's turn, he's going to go, you know what? I'm going to play very aggressively here. I'm going to expend another 2 missiles. And he's going to go, roll. Oh, they both hit. He's going to clobber this guy, right? So 1, 2, 3. So he's still got 2 points left. He can hit any system, any outer system he wants other than the reactor. So he's going to say clobber his engines. 1, 2. And now he's got another 5 points from the second missile. So he's going to go, okay, let's take out his missile system, right? So 3 points off there. And then we're going to take another 2 points off of his reactor. A maximum of 2 points can be carried over into the reactor. The reactor can never take more than 2 points from any direction, right? So if you destroyed 2 systems, you could do a maximum of 4 points of damage per turn. You could theoretically destroy all 4 outer systems and do a whopping 8 points of damage in 1 turn, but by then your opponent is probably dead. Now, the trick, of course, is that this guy now is in a difficult situation. He's got a lot less energy to use, right? So he's going to be like, well, I'm going to use my repair, spend 2 points and repair my engines. I'm going to fire up those engines, right? And then he's going to do, so he's spent, let's see here. He spent 5 points already. He's only got 1 point left. So he might do something desperate like return fire with a mazer, right? Which would hit in this case, but it's probably not the best thing he could do. What he should do is maybe be a little riskier, spend 2 points or 1 point repairing his engine, only fire up his engines by 2 points. Right now, a 4 will hit if a 4 is rolled by his opponent. But what he can do, so far, he's only spent 3 points. So he can spend another point to repair a missile, right? And now he can spend another point to fire a missile. Oh, it didn't work out for him, right? Had he rolled, say, a 5, he could have, actually clobbered this guy back, got a real battle going. At this point, right, it becomes a survival game. When you get good hit in, right, you can win, but it gets more difficult, right? Ideally, you're clubbing each other pretty hard, and the goal is to try and keep the other guy down as hard as possible. So that's basically the game, right? Once the reactor of the opponent is destroyed, then it's game over. He loses. His ship is destroyed. The other way you can win is a tactical victory, right? So you destroy all his weapons, but he keeps doing something like recharging his shields, right? And so you don't have enough weapons left to destroy him, but you've got more weapons than he does. You win a tactical victory. It can also be potentially a tie if neither one of you has sufficient strength to overwhelm the other. That can happen. Thankfully, it's fairly rare. But the game is very quick and very simple to play. Now, let's talk about this other stuff hanging out over here on the side. All right, so what's a game without a deluxe edition, right? This is a $1 game, but it's a good game, right? It's quality. You can see these are prototypes, and these are quality cards. These are indicative of what you would actually receive. If we turn over here, this is intended to be the deluxe edition. I've put an extra card out here just to kind of show what the back looks like, but it would be the same sort of setup, but you get much nicer components, right? You get let me see if I can get a little farther in frame. All right. So you can see that we've got colored components for each of the systems. Weapons are red, reactor is pink, and you can see that's on the card here. Weapons have a red marker. The reactor has a pink marker. Engines have a blue marker, right? Blue component. Repair has a green marker. The shields have a yellow marker, right? So you know which pieces to use for what. And each player has their own dice, right? That ship with the deluxe edition. The idea is that you can never use more than 3 dice at a time, right? Because the most you can ever roll for is 3 mazers. So if you can't use more than 3 dice, there's no point in the player having more than 3 dice. And at the end of his turn, he can always do this great trick where he puts next to his engines what he's powered them up to, and then reclaim that dice when his turn starts, right? Each player has his own dice. It gets pretty easy. So this is basically still the same game, just ups the quality of the components. Everything's included. You don't need to find your own dice. right? Yes, you can play the game with one die, but you know, it goes a lot faster if you use multiple die. And of course, as much as I love these little cardboard pieces that uses markers in the $1 version, I don't know if we can get a focus on that. These are great, and they really are easy to manipulate. I mean, you can see that I'm picking this up no problem here. That is traditionally my problem with a lot of chits, right? In fact, hold on here. I've got another game here, which is complicated. I like it. It's a fun game. Nevertheless, and the components are of high quality. The components in this game almost feel like plastic, right? The problem is the components in this game, they see how thin they are? Very, very thin. When you put these on a surface, let's see if we can get that in frame. When you put these on a surface, on this surface, it's easy to pick up, right? But you put it on something like this, right, and you start having a hard time picking it up, right? Because you can't get any purchase on the edge. That is not true with these special cardboard markers, right? You can always reach in and pick it up. And you can see I have large hands. So these have worked out really well. I'm super excited about these. So that's the game. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'd be happy to answer on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can email me directly at jbaines@gmail.com. Sorry guys, not putting that on the site. I get enough spam as it is. But feel free to just email me. It's jbanes@gmail.com. Well, thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this. Keep an eye out for the Kickstarter in mid-September. Thanks. Bye.